All right, so we have been home a couple of weeks now from our adventure to Japan. One of the things, I put these headlights in like last year, maybe the year before, I can't remember, because the other ones were completely glassed over. You couldn't see out them. But one thing about this headlight, I don't know if you can see, it doesn't actually fit correctly, but part of that is the adjuster pieces behind here are broken. Same thing here, you can see the headlights pushed way back. So one headlight points sort of up in the air, the other one points who knows where. So there is a headlight panel behind these headlights, and so I went ahead and ordered a new one. It's like 80 bucks. So when it comes in, I'm going to pull this front end apart and swap those out so that we can adjust the headlights, because I think the driver's side actually points up and to the right side, and the passenger side is pointing down and to the right. So they both point out off to the right, but in different directions. Because nothing ever is easy. So yeah, so I'll have to pull the front bumper cover off, pull that out. Hopefully getting that piece out isn't that difficult. So yeah, the part should be here in a day or two. So we'll be on that. Alright, so on both sides there's this bolt, and as you can see it's pushed all the way out, but it's actually broke on this piece that's underneath it. So the headlight is this part, and this is the part that's broke. I don't know if it's going to be hard to see, but it is broke on both sides. So it really doesn't support the headlight. Now, it's one bolt and this pin that takes the headlight out. So you just unscrew that, pull the pin, and then the headlight comes out. But as you can see, the headlight is completely out of whack because this inner part is broken. So what we're going to do is replace all of those. I believe, I don't know, there's nothing behind this screwed in area, so I'm not sure how this adjusts the headlight unless it's internal. Probably is. But yeah, the headlights are completely out of whack. So I'm going to replace this inner fender piece with the new one. And like I said, I don't know if I need to take this whole front bumper off, or if I could just unsnap it and lift it out without, because it's only this upper piece. So I might be able to get this out without having to take this whole bumper off. We'll try it without doing it, and then we'll have to go back and see what we got. All right, but regretfully this afternoon we have a doctor's appointment, so maybe when I get back this afternoon I can tear into this. Maybe this won't be as bad as I think it is. We will see. The other thing I need to do is check the oil and see how we are on oil since the van went for its little trip. So, all right, so I'm gonna check the oil, I'll check the power steering fluid, I'll check the tranny fluid. Like I said, we gotta leave here in about 30 minutes anyway. I just wanted to look this over to see how difficult this was gonna be, but I'm kind of thinking it's not gonna be nearly as bad as I thought. So, all right, let me get our appointments done and we'll get back into this. Okay, so the part's in. So the first thing we're gonna do is pop the headlights out. It should just be one. Oops. It should just be that one screw and that bolt, rod, whatever you want to call it. And then the headlight, if I remember, just slides out and I should be able to unplug it. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so you can see that that's broke, so this little bolt isn't really doing anything. But then this also broke right here, which is the rod that holds the headlight. So a little rod is supposed to fit through like a boot or something right there. So if I remember correctly, they were broke on both sides. But like I said, it's just the one bolt. Pull that rod out and the headlight pops right out. We're just going to unplug it, and it looks like I may not have to take the white bumper cover off. I should be able to just unbolt one more bolt here, and then these clips and those bolts, and I think we can take this out of there without having to disassemble the whole front end. So because right now the truck is down. My neighbor was working on it while I was gone, but we ran into some issues. The rear shocks weren't long enough. We've ordered 3 sets, and the current set are in. The battery went bad, so I got that done here yesterday. And then it still needs an alignment because we put new struts with springs in the front. And the only other thing is the clutch fan. He forgot, so it needs to have the new clutch fan put on. But other than that, the truck's got I think about 130,000 miles on it. So I just did a major tune-up, water pump, belt, all new coils, plugs, new struts in the front, shocks and springs in the rear, all new brakes. So should be pretty good now. My mileage had fallen off. I was getting like 19 miles to the gallon in this, and it started getting like 13, so it was probably due for a tune-up. But we need to get this sorted out so that we can have working headlights. Normally we don't drive it at night, but you know, we're planning on doing some trips this year in this or the bus, so I want this to be 100%. We're still kind of contemplating whether or not we're going to sell both of these and buy something different, or just fix both of these up and drive them until they drop. That's kind of the thing. But we plan on taking 1 and 2 week trips at least every month here, and going from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting this headlight out of here, then I'll pop the other one out, and then I'll start seeing what I need to do to get these clips out of this bumper, and then whatever bolts are holding this inner piece on. Okay, so just like that, both headlights are out. I have the one screw here out. I took this one out because I wasn't sure. I have taken out all of these push pins across the front. The next thing I need to do is take out this one and this one. It's holding the front end piece. I've already got that one out. I got the side bolts here. These down here are a different size. I need to get those 4 out. And I need to get this one out. Now this one here is only broke down here, not up here. So yeah, came out pretty good. I will need to put some silicone lubricant on these when I switch this over. I think I have to switch this. I didn't see a bracket. I'll have to look on the new bumper part. But yeah, so I have one bolt here to take out, and then those 4, and oh, those are not in. So on this side, those are missing. So, and I will have to get rid of a couple of these zip ties that are holding things, but I think it shouldn't be too bad. All right, so one more bolt, a couple of those little push pins, and I think those are 12s because everything else is a 10. So we'll grab an extension or a deep socket so we can get up over this bracket a little bit, and hopefully we'll get that out quick. All right, so this whole piece snapped off as soon as I twisted it. and this is out. But what we have is a slight problem. So this power line goes to the headlight and the turn signal on this side. I have that all unplugged, except now we have this one wire right here that goes into the loom right here, and it disappears into the darkness. So I have to figure out what this is. It's looks like it's pink and gray, maybe, not sure. So once I can figure out where that goes and if I can reach it and unplug it, that would be awesome. And then I can just feed this loom back through and get the new one. But one thing I did notice, that this bracket for this side was completely broken. So I hope the new bump light panel came with that piece, because if not, that's going to be a bummer. So so I have to figure out how I'm going to get that wire out. So I have to figure out where it goes. Okay, so I do not know where this wire disappears to. It goes down in here, and regretfully from the bottom, there's a part of the bottom radiator support that you can't get out of the way. So without taking the air box and everything else out of the way, the easiest way to get rid of this will be to just cut it, and then we will splice it back in. That way I can get this all done. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut this, give ourselves enough slack so we can do that. Except I don't know what I just did with the side cutters. I had them in my hand a second ago. The needle nose are there. Okay, oh, they're there. They're down here. All right, so we're going to cut that real quick, and we'll get this out. And then we'll get the new one in and have all the wires fed through, and we'll do that patch last. Okay, so I got that inner piece out. These were the two wires. As I was getting ready to cut them, I noticed that there was some electrical tape, and I peeled back the electrical tape, and they were already spliced and just twisted back together. People. So I am going to give myself a little bit more wire off of the loom. I'm going to put in a jumper piece, and then I'll put a plug in there. So hopefully we never have to do this again. That's the other ends right there. So I should have plenty of wire. So I'm gonna go grab that other front end piece and see about what I need to do to get it fitted. I think I can run the wiring through it when it's in here. The hardest things are going to be these guys here, because there's a plug that needs to go in. There's one on each side. I'm not exactly sure what those are for, but they did have these like little pink safety things so they wouldn't fall out. Yellow usually is airbag, so my guess that has something to do with the airbags. Who knows? All right, let me grab the other front end. Okay, so here's our new one. It did come with the bracket and the cup for holding the end of the headlight, which is awesome. Everything else looks good. This is good. Okay, I guess that piece wasn't broken. It's supposed to be grooved. It's the upper piece that's broken. Same thing here. We're going to have to take that bolt out of the fender to make that work. But other than that, everything looks the same. So good. I don't know what those are. I guess that's just molding plug. Okay, so I kind of think the easiest way is to fit the cable back in and then get everything sort of buttoned up. I'm just looking to make sure everything lines up like it's supposed to. It looks like it does. All right, so I'm going to run the wire through, get everything sort of put where it needs to be, and then we'll go from there. I'm trying to see here. So the hole came through. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to feed the cable through, get this all sorted real quick. Okay, so I knocked the little clip that holds the bolt out when I was pushing this around. It hit the ground, so I had to put it back in here. But as you can see, this is pushed all the way over, so there's no room for me to do anything. So I don't know if this bracket behind here is a little bent. It looks like it's sort of straight. It's hard to tell. I do believe this was in a front end damage at some point, because just so many things are off. But for the most part, it's all lined back up. I just need to make sure that this plug is the headlight plug. I can't remember if I pulled it through here or down here, so we will have to make sure that gets back where it needs to go. These other lines are plugged in and good, so we're just worried about this one headlight plug. I think it comes through the top. I think this goes in this hole right here. Like I said, this one came with this bracket. These are plastic. I thought they were metal. So I'll need to put a little bit of lubricant on here so that little knuckle joint pops back in. That holds this side. So that was part of what was broke. The clip here was broke. So the whole headlight really was just kind of waddling around in there. So I do have to tighten up and plug in those center ones. So we'll get on that here. But for the most part, I don't have anything screwed in as far as the headlight bracket goes. It's just sort of sitting there. I did take out these star bits because this wants to sit down in there a little bit. Because when I did have it sitting flush, this was right on top of that screw. So it looks like it still needs to come down just a little bit on this side. Can't tell on that side if it's down. Nope, I can see the gap. So a little bit of stuff, we'll get it sorted. Okay, so we have the headlight all in on the driver's side. The only thing we didn't do are those two wires that are just right here. We'll dig with those in a minute. I got most of the plugs. The other one's up there somewhere. I just haven't found it yet. I got the other 4 in. I need to finish getting the 2 bumper bolts or headlight bracket bolts back into the thing. I started getting the hood latch back in. Everything is wired to where it should go, except for this mystery plug. It is really dirty, so I don't think it was plugged in, but I think it was just stuffed in there somewhere, because this wire here goes to the hood latch wire. Everything else, all the other wires are plugged back in, so I don't know what that wire does. I'm not finding any loose wire anywhere around here, so it must have just been down there, and when I pulled out the harness it came out. I just didn't see it. So yep, so I'm just trying to get everything back in place, lined up. I'm having a problem with those little keepers. So what I did was pop the keeper out, put it in the headlight, and then I greased it up. That way I could get this one in, because I put it in about 4 or 5 times and it shot that little cap out of the inside. I still need to put the hood cushions in. There's one on each side, and then there's one here in the middle. These on the side are adjustable. You can screw them in and out. These here are just push in and stay in. So I'll have to figure out how to get them out of there without tearing them up. But other than that, this has taken about 2 hours. Mostly me just standing around staring at it. Oh, my neighbor's home with his new car. I can't wait to see it. He traded his Jeep last night for a Miata. 99% finished. All I got to do is these 2 wires. I'm going to do them later. All right. Not too bad. Only took about 3 hours. All right. So they are much better now. Now that I replaced that header panel, the headlights are pretty even. Before, the driver's side was pointing up to the crack there, and the passenger side was pointing off in that direction. And I was able to adjust them, and I was able to watch them go down. So there's a bolt on the fence that's pretty much in line with the headlights. So looks like it worked pretty good. To me, they might still be just a little high, but way better than they were. And the highlights definitely are there. So as far as the dash goes, we do have, I just took my seatbelt off, we do have this one airbag light, which is those 2 wires that I haven't reconnected. I've got to get out in the garage and find my connector box. I got those heat shrinks with the solder inside, so I'm just going to plug them in and do those. But way better. And the truck is done as well. The shocks were installed. The clutch fan was put in. My neighbor finished up today. So now what I need to do is take it over to the alignment shop and get it aligned, because we put new struts in the front, and this has got struts coming for it this week or next week, I guess. But all right, so 2 projects done. Now I need to get behind that gate and get on that Jeep and get it finished so I can get it sold. Got some plans coming for this year. We want to do more traveling around the U.S. So we're not sure if we're going to keep the little van here, keep the bus, sell both the bus and the little van, and maybe either my truck, and buy something newer, like one of the Sprinter vans or whatever. So we're kind of looking on the internet right now, trying to make a decision. But the little van runs great. Once I get the struts done on the front of this, all the mechanical side should be done. We had a starter go bad on when my friend was bringing it back from Seattle for us. We still have a leak on the main seal, which I've replaced like 5 times now. I'm not sure why it's leaking again, but it's relatively easy to take off. So I'm going to try a different brand of seal. I'm going to probably go by the Napa store and see what they have, because all the seals that I've been getting from AutoZone and O'Reilly's and even Rock Auto, they don't seem to last. They couple of months and they start leaking, and that's just weird. But all right, we're gonna finish up this one and hopefully start working on something else.